Hey, how's it going? Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Gosh dang it, dog. How is everybody doing today? Welcome from wherever it is you are joining us from in your day. I hope you have had a wonderful day, wonderful evening, wonderful afternoon. I hope your day is going great. So, welcome to Rush to Judgment with Jessica. I'm Jessica. Today we are working on day 5 of the Chandler Halderson Trial. Chandler Halderson is on trial for the murder of his mom and dad and the dismemberment of said mom and dad. So those were his charges. Again, this trial happened about 10 months ago. I think it took place in January this year. I didn't watch it at the time, so I am going back to watch it now to see, how it all happened and what all took place. So hey, everybody say hi to my child. I'm sure you heard that. He came in to say hello to the kitty cat and the dog. I tell you what, I press record and one of them always comes in. Never fails. So, okay. So we are going to get started on day 5. But let's start with the intro first. And just a reminder, I am not an expert in any of these things. I do not have a legal background. I do not have any type of specialty in any of these things. I merely sit here and talk to myself and you while watching these things. So, hope you find it entertaining. I find it entertaining. It's just a little bit more fun this way, I think. So yeah. Okay, so here we go. Share this, change that, and we press play.
Thanks. Please be seated, everyone. Good morning, folks. I want to remind you of what I said about climate control within the room, although I'm feeling cooler air now, so maybe we've been able to adjust the temperature. It was kind of warm when we started today. So I hope you are comfortable, and if there's anything you need in that regards, please let Randy know. We do have a fan that he set up to try and get a little more direct circulation for you. Before we begin with the resumption of the state's case in chief, is there anyone in the panel who was exposed to any information over the weekend, unintentionally or intentionally sought out any further information about this case, or participated in or overheard discussions about the evidence, the case, the parties, the witnesses, etc.? I see no hands. Thanks very much. Let's begin. Attorney Brown.
Still called Jesse. I see no hands. You want to watch it with me? Okay.
Good morning. I would ask if you believe you can do so safely and responsibly if you could testify without a mask this morning. Is that all right with you?
Yes, that is.
Go ahead and remove your mask then, please. Thank you. Go right ahead.
Good morning. Please state and spell your name for us.
Good morning. My name is Jessamy Torres, spelled Jessamy.
Jessamy.
Torres is Torres.
And what do you
That's a
do for a
strange name.
I'm a lieutenant with the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
Could you tell us what
Love
the role of
you.
a
Bye.
lieutenant is, and perhaps in contrast to we've already heard from maybe some deputies and some detectives. What is a lieutenant?
So a lieutenant is a supervisor over the deputies, detectives, sergeants. And in my opinion, my role as a supervisor is to assist the people that are doing the job, help them in any way that I can to do the best job that they can under those circumstances.
In early July of last year, were you asked to kind of perform in that role as a lieutenant regarding a few days of a search of the Irwin Road property here in Dane County?
Yes, I was.
And was that in relation to the homicides of Bart and Krista Halderson?
Yes.
What was your role as one of these people out there who was maybe higher ranking? What was your role on the property?
Well, so I was out there 2 different days, and my role was just kind of to be the overall supervisor of the scene. Both days that I was present at the Irwin Road property, I primarily interacted with the property owners. They were very distraught and emotional. So I spent the majority of my time talking with them and trying to keep them calm so that the detectives and the deputies on scene could do their job.
We're going to hear probably today from people who found things properly. You weren't one of those people out physically digging through things most of the time.
Most of the time, correct.
Okay. What days, first of all, let's start with, I think Detective Baverstock testified that the torso was found on the 8th. How long was the property kept and when was it finally released back into Cress as out of the custody of the Dane County Sheriff's Department?
So we turned the property back over to Cress on Monday, July 12th.
Okay. So it was the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. At some points those days, the Sheriff's Department was out there from the finding of the torso to the release. It was within your purview or within your custody.
Yes.
And the property itself, could you describe the general property for us? I think the jury's seen pictures, but what was your view of the property?
So it was a rural property. There was a main residential building. There was an outbuilding, which would be best described as a large barn. There was a smaller outbuilding that
An
held
old
chickens.
tobacco barn.
And then the property consisted of acreage, I would estimate, I don't know the exact number, but maybe 30 to 35 acres of varying topographical design. There was a large field with overgrowth that was maybe 12, 15 acres. And then surrounding that was wooded property.
And if we look at this map, which has been admitted into evidence as exhibit number 57, when you talk about the field that was overgrowth, are you talking about the image that's on the days of searches, actual torso and the garbage bin on the 8th?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Sure. After the torso and the garbage bin were found by Detective Baverstock on the 8th, were there 2 primary days of searching that occurred after that you were involved in?
Yes, 2 days that I was involved in, Saturday, July 10th in the morning, and then Monday, July 12th in the morning.
And could you give us let's start with, I suppose, just because we talked about it, the field. Was that field search, that grassy field?
How did we go about doing that?
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, can I ask when this picture was taken?
Sure, and those are law enforcement vehicles out there. So sometime later, but while law enforcement was out
Okay.
there.
So the one field, I had actually spoke to Cress about it. She was letting it grow natural to try and bring back bee populations. So there was a large portion that had, I would say, need to waist high natural growth. There was some small shrubberies, there was thorns, there was tall grass. So on Saturday, July 10th was when we did a line search of the area.
And by a line search.
So everyone that was there to assist that day, we briefed ahead of time out in the field near this barn.
What
And
did I
then
say?
what we did was we
The
lined
dance
up.
line.
We tried to maintain an equal distance amongst each officer, not too far, but not too close. And then we just systematically started at one end and walked in a line until we got to the end. If anyone's something that was of interest, they would say stop and we'd all stop. If the line ever kind of got off canter where one side was, we would stop and reline up. And so we'd keep walking until we got to the end, kind of turn the line, rotate the line around where the last person was and go back up.
Based on or any of your knowledge, was anything of evidentiary value found in that big field?
No.
Going to maybe more the wooded portion, were the woods searched to the extent you could?
Yes, it was my understanding that the woods had been searched prior, that there had been detectives that had gone through there. But we also did, as we searched the the field part, we also made our line kind of overlap with the wooded part, and it was common to, when we would turn overlap, have someone overlap the last where that end person had gone, to make sure that we aren't potentially missing anything.
And absent what Detective Baberstock and the other detectives have maybe talked about finding the first day on the 8th, was anything found in the woods in your line search?
No, not on the day that I was there.
Now, there was a residence, a house on this property, correct?
Yes, sir.
Was that home searched at some point?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So that home was also searched on Monday, July 12th.
And the homeowner, was a homeowner there, correct?
Yes, Cress was.
And was anything of evidentiary value related ultimately to the case found in the house?
No items of evidence were collected other than photographic evidence.
The driveway leading all the way through, and it looked like a long, windy driveway down the road, was that area in general searched?
Yes, that would have been on Saturday, the 10th, when we did the land and the property search. We also covered that the land all the way down to the road, and we even walked along the roadway.
And I think we'll hear from that deputy later, but it'd be fair to say something of evidentiary value was found in that driveway up to the road search, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now there's a shed, a barn on this property. Was that barn searched?
Yes, it was.
Can you tell me, based on what you know, how many folks were searching it and maybe how they go about something like that?
So on Monday, July 12th, there was 6, myself, and then 6 deputies, 2 deputies and 4 detectives. So we briefed ahead of time, and the barn was searched. Was all 6 went in. I was, asking if there's anything I could do to help or assist, but then also back at the residence with Crest. But the way the search was completed, as any search that I've been involved with, everyone coordinates and talks amongst themselves, and we'll start in an area and communicate with their partners. I'll start here, you start here, we'll meet in the middle, and they just kind of systematically go through the building, doing their best to cover, searching every area that they can.
Can you describe this barn?
Yes, it was a large barn. I don't know the exact dimensions, but I would say it could probably have fit in maybe 12 cars. Inside the barn, there was a SUV parked. There were 2 tractors that have kind of a single seat tractor, farm tractor. There was also a workbench area. There was a lot of tools. In the center of the barn, there was piled high, various boxes and Tupperware containers, not Tupperware. What's the word I'm looking for? The plastic boxes like you put your decorations in. And then there was also some high shelving along that had things stored there. A lot of old dusty tools.
And I think you mentioned that, the property released back to Crest on the 12th?
Yes.
When you left on the 12th, were you comfortable with the property had being searched at that time and giving it back to the homeowner?
Yes, I was comfortable that we'd done the best that we could. And had there been any question about, for me, whether we should stay longer, I would have told Crest we're going to stay longer.
Sure. At that stage in the investigation, were there other areas that needed to be searched by maybe even some of the same sheriff's deputies that were there?
Yes.
Just in general, what types of areas were you aware of that ultimately had to be searched?
My understanding, in addition to that property on Early Wind, there was the primary residence. There was some wooded DNR land. There was waterways. And then there was also a large landfill.
Sure. Were you later made aware a couple months after your search that the homeowner found a rifle in that barn?
Yes, I was.
And possible you missed it in the original search?
Yes.
Any explanation or what could you say about that?
What I could say about that is that I'm confident that the detectives and the deputies I was supervising that day were doing the best they could. It was a vast property. There was a lot of items in there. And if it was missed during our search, it was oversight or human error.
Sure. Sometimes searches aren't 100% effective.
I'd say we always do the best we can, but it would be naive to say we get 100% every time. We try our best.
Did best.
Cross-examination.
Yes, thank you. Lieutenant Torres, from July 8th to July 12th, I believe that's when you said that the property was under your custody or Dane County Sheriff's custody. Is that correct?
To the best of my understanding, I wasn't there when the scene was initiated. So my only involvement with the case was on the July 10th and July 12th.
As your role as lieutenant, would you be able to know if the property was under, well, let me backtrack. So we learned earlier last week that during the search of the Oak Springs location, there was constantly someone from law enforcement that was guarding that location. Are you aware if that same thing happened here in the Erwin location?
I'm not familiar with the location that you just referenced, but what I can say is the Erwin location, from when the official word was that we were guarding it as a crime scene, we staffed a deputy there 24/7.
So it was constantly being looked at from the time you determined it was a crime scene to the time you released it on the 12th.
Yes, I can say we constantly had a deputy there.
That's what
And
she
your role in lieutenant, if
said.
something was found, something of evidentiary value was found in that location, were you informed of that?
At that time,
Yes.
yes, the only item of evidentiary value that was collected either of the 2 days would have been on Saturday the 10th by Detective Dan Feeney.
Okay. Now, drawing your attention to the search of the barn, it's been called a barn or a shed. You said you were there that day, correct?
I was, yes.
Approximately how many hours were devoted to searching this barn?
I can't say for certain how many hours we were in the barn, but we arrived at that property probably about 8 a.m. And I believe the time that we all left, that the last law enforcement left, was about 11:30
So 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. or p.m.?
a.m.
And
That wasn't
could you
very
describe
long.
a little bit more about how the search in the barn was conducted? You told us earlier about a line search and kind of gave us a detailed explanation on how that was conducted. Could you do something like that for the search of the barn?
Sure. So whenever deputies and detectives have to search a big building like that, they coordinate amongst themselves and they walk in and they communicate with each other. I'll start here. You start there. We'll meet in the middle, for example. So under that day, again, I was in and out, so I wasn't directly watching everyone that was searching the entire time. But I do know, and I did observe the deputies and detectives communicating in that typical way of, I've searched this area. Okay, now this is the area we have to do next, and moving through the building like that.
And then did you feel like a thorough search of that barn was conducted that day?
At that day and that time, I felt as though we had done the best that we could to find evidence.
So then later that day on the 12th was when the property was released back to the property owner, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And nothing of evidentiary value was located in that property until later in October, I believe, correct?
That's my understanding, but I was not involved in the case after July 12th.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
One moment, Judge.
Sure.
Nothing further. The witness will be released but remaining under subpoena.
Oh, so you're excused, but you remain under
Yes.
subpoena and are not released yet from your subpoena, so don't talk about the case, but you are free to go, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you,
today.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
Whee! I don't know.
Calls Deputy Eric Schneider, Thursday.
I do.
Good morning, Deputy.
Good morning.
If you feel you can do so safely and responsibly, testifying
Big
without being
mask, or
referenced
his head is
here, if you're
small.
able to do that.
Sure.
And thank you so much. Go right ahead, counsel.
I don't know which is what.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record, spelling both your first and last names?
Deputy Eric Schneider, ERIKSCHNEIDER.
How are you employed?
I'm employed with the Dane County Sheriff's Office as a patrol deputy out of the Southeast Precinct and a member of the Dane County Sheriff's Office Crime Scene Unit.
Tell me about that. What does that mean that you're a member of the Dane County Sheriff's Crime Scene Unit?
My full-time position is patrol, but we also have some people that assist the two primary crime scene unit deputies, Greg Leatherberry and Jim Plenty. So if they are unavailable or there's a particularly large or complicated scene, I will come out and I will work with them.
Have you gone through any training to become part of the crime scene unit?
I have.
Can you just briefly describe that for the jury?
There's a state crime lab evidence school that I attended, a 5-day week-long school. There's an additional state lab photography course. I've done additional training, buried bodied course that we put on ourselves. Off the top of my head.
Buried body course.
And as part of that training, learning how to collect items of evidence in a way that is both
The hell
safe
was
but also
that?
preserves the evidence.
Yes.
All right, I think I will ask you a little bit about that individually. I'm now going to approach you with some photos, exhibits 144 through 157. In this case in particular, one of the ways in which you worked as a crime scene unit deputy was at the Irwin property.
Yes.
Could you just briefly look through exhibits 144 through 157?
No, thank you. I did one too.
And as a group, would you describe exhibits 144 through 157 as photographs of the Irwin Road property during the search,
Yes,
or at least some of them?
yes,
There's many more. Do they appear to be true and accurate photographs?
yes.
I would move 144 through 157 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
Thank you. They are received.
And I will leave them up here in case you need to reference them, but what I'm going to play on the screen will also show up on your little screen. Okay. So how would you describe exhibit 108 on your screen? Oh, I'm sorry, Judge.
The property in question had a large barn or a shed. The immediate area around it was mowed, and beyond that was a large area of like prairie and a wood line. This is a section of the mowed grass butting up against that prairie to the south of the barn.
And do you see an oil drum in that photograph?
Yes,
How would you describe exhibit 109?
there was a cut. You see there an odd-shaped cut on the north side of that oil drum, and inside were some items.
And 110 shows some of those items inside.
Yes, a saw blade, a scissors, and a smaller saw with like a chrome or metal handle. And a bolt cutters
All right, and that's 112.
or shears, yes.
All right, how did you package these various items? So let's start first with 139, which is the pruning shears. How did you collect and package them?
So at that time, I had CSI Greg Leatherberry with me. He made a determination we're going to remove the items. And it just so happened that my arm span was long enough that I could reach them because they were deep inside the oil drum. So just using regular nitrile evidence gloves, I reached in, I was able to pull them out one at a time without touching areas that looked like they had stains. We laid them out on paper, and then CSI Leatherberry collected them in whatever packaging he used.
And why do you wear gloves?
To preserve the evidence, to keep it from either losing evidence or us from.
Because his hands were cold. It was a dumb
Did you
question.
change your gloves?
I
in
hate dumb
between
questions.
Touching different items.
No.
Depending, yes.
And every
Depending.
time, well, I'm going to approach you now with exhibit 139. And exhibit 139 has various stickers on it. Are some of those stickers, though, identification stickers from your office?
Yes.
And why is that done?
Anything that is taken and put into evidence will have a unique tag number cataloging it.
And this appears to have all the correct stickers.
It does.
I'm going to ask you to open exhibit 139. There. So. And Deputy, you're going to write a report after testifying here today. Is that fair? Because you
After?
are opening up evidence?
Yes.
And why do you do that?
It's just to preserve the chain of custody.
So anytime anybody opens up a box or an envelope that has evidence tape on it, a report is written about that encounter with the evidence.
Yes.
There's also a little knife if you prefer that.
I wonder if that's standard everywhere.
Would this be a good point for the stipulation on chain of custody?
Huh?
Yes, that's fine.
As the deputy is opening this item of evidence, with regard to much of the physical evidence here, the parties have entered into a stipulation, which I'll read to you at this time. Once again, in this case, the district attorney and defendant's attorneys have stipulated to the following facts. Throughout the investigation into the deaths of Bart and Krista Halderson, many pieces of evidence were collected from the Halderson home, the Earlywine Road property, and the Roxbury, Wisconsin River land. These items of evidence were securely transported to various locations, including the medical examiner's office, the crime lab, to police evidence lockers, and ultimately to the courtroom. In some cases, there is a dispute that the evidence was not handled correctly, or that there is some dispute to the authenticity of the evidence. That is not the case here. The parties stipulate that there is no dispute to the chain of custody or authenticity of these items of evidence. The parties stipulate these items have remained in secure custody since being collected by police and have not been tampered with or altered in any way outside of the testing performed by the experts involved in this case. These items of evidence include the following. Number one, the human remains located at Earlywine Road and in the town of Roxbury. Number 2, all items collected from the Early Wine Road property. Number 3, all items collected from the Halderson home in Windsor, Wisconsin. Number 4, all items of evidence tested by the Wisconsin State Crime Lab for DNA, fingerprints, footwear impressions, ballistics, and trace fit testing. And finally, number 5, all swabs of purported DNA and blood, including the DNA sample taken from Chandler Halderson and Mitchell Halderson. Go ahead.
Deputy, could you please describe Exhibit 139? You can unwrap it further if you need to.
Do you want me to remove it from the ties as well?
Why don't you just describe it?
I'd say they have a dispute
The
on
item in question
how
is the
the
large
gun got there.
pruning shears, I guess they are, with red paint on the handle.
And do those appear to be the same or in substantially the same condition as when you retrieved them from the Irwin Road property?
Yes.
At this time, I would move Exhibit 139 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received. It may be published.
All right. Are they connected to the box or just no? Deputy, why don't you pick those up out of the box? Watch your step, but walk them in front of the jury, please.
Please don't fall and impale yourself with the shears. Jesus' words do not work today.
All right.
It's been a day.
Back in the box.
What would he use those for? Just cut off toes or fingers or
Deputy,
something?
I'm now approaching you with what has been marked as Exhibit 140. Could you please open up Exhibit 140? How would you describe Exhibit 140?
Exhibit 140 is the smaller saw that we saw in the picture of the oil drum with the chrome colored handle.
And is it in substantially the same condition as when you collected it?
Yes.
At this time, I would move Exhibit 140 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
And I would ask that you repeat the same procedure and show the jury.
Gross.
It's still tied in. Would you like me to remove it all the way?
Yeah, if it's not too difficult.
Attorney Raymond, I wonder if we move the water pitcher, if it might give the deputy a little more room.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. And if you want to place that one back in the box, 140. And I'll give you a minute to change your gloves.
Why does he have to take them all the way out of the box? Can't you just hold the box up and say, here it is? Seems a bit redundant. Come on, work the gloves.
Now I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 141. Could you please open up the box and tell us what 141 is?
Bet it's another saw.
Exhibit 141 is the broken saw blade from that oil drum that we saw in the picture.
And is it in the same or substantially the same condition as when you collected it?
Yes.
I would move exhibit 141 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
It is received.
I think this one could probably stay in the box, but do you want to display that to the jury, please?
Is it the gun?
If you want to close that box and change your gloves.
I don't like her condescending tone.
I'm not going to change my gloves because I'm just handling the box.
Ma'am, why don't you change your gloves?
Please open exhibit 142.
Oh, that's not the gun. No scissors. Were there scissors? I don't remember, Libby. Were there scissors? Good Lord. Open it.
And how would you describe exhibit 142?
Exhibit 142 is the scissors with the red handle from inside the drum.
Are they in the same or substantially the same condition as when you collected them?
All of that.
They are.
I would
For some
ask to
scissors.
move 142 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
It is received.
And again, will you display for the jury? I think that's the last piece of physical evidence for the moment. If you just want to remove your gloves, that would be fine. Deputy, did you participate at any point in the search of the barn or shed, as it's been called, on the Irwin Road property?
Yes.
And would you describe exhibit 144 as displayed on your screen?
Exhibit 144 is the large barn or shed in question that you're talking about.
And exhibit 145, what does it display?
A portion of the interior of the barn.
There's lots of stuff in the barn.
There is a lot of stuff in the barn.
Exhibit 146, what does 146 display?
146 is probably the eastern portion of the barn. The two entrances face north-south of the barn. So if you're coming in from the north, which faces the house, to your left would be this area.
And 147, what does that display?
147 is a silver gray colored tarp that was located, I believe, the 9th.
The little
I believe
thing
the
looked
night
like a
of the
bunny
8th,
for a
or
second.
the first night we were at the property.
So that was the night that the torso was discovered?
Correct.
And is it fair to say this was found during like a cursory search of the barn?
Yes, while we were waiting for the search warrant to be finalized, we had the medical examiner's office out there, and
Oh,
the
dear.
director, Ermin,
Sorry
his
if that was
canines
loud,
while
I
we were
don't know.
waiting.
This is
We
a
thought
new
we would
mic. I
utilize the
don't know
canine
what
while
it
we had it to
does.
see if we could find anything, and it led us
I
directly
do
to
not.
that tarp.
I don't even know
Of
if you
course,
can
at
hear
this
me.
point, Crest had given you folks permission to be on her
Yes.
property and searched. 148, what does that display?
But it's the same tarp after we removed it from where we located it.
The
Let
tarp.
me just go back and ask you one question. The
Derpy.
dog that medical director Ehrman had, was that a cadaver canine dog?
I believe his is, yes.
149, what is displayed on exhibit 149?
The same tarp, just from a different angle. You can see the beginning of some red staining there.
150?
We're starting to slowly unfold it. And again, more red staining. So I think at that point or shortly thereafter, we stop because we believe it has evidentiary value and we want to ruin it or contaminate it on scene.
So why did you stop?
That should be something that's processed in a more controlled environment. We had a lot going on there, so we weren't going to unravel that in the middle of a dirt floor and begin processing it there. That's something that will be done later in a lab.
Sure, so it was sent to the Wisconsin State Crime Lab?
I believe that one was.
Perhaps. Perhaps it was.
Yep.
What?
I'm actually just going to touch the bag.
I can whisper too.
Deputy, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 143. There are various stickers. Are there stickers on Exhibit 143 from your office?
Yes.
And do any of those stickers tell you what is inside of Exhibit 143?
Yes.
Okay, and do those all appear to be in order?
They do.
At this time, I would move Exhibit 143 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
And we are not going to open 143 at this time.
Yeah.
Over here, though. And Deputy, were you made aware in October of 2021 that after the Sheriff's Office had finished their investigation of the Irwin Road property, the homeowner found a rifle?
Yes.
How would you describe Exhibit 151?
An interior portion
Very cluttered
of the shed.
garage.
As you can see, there's just a lot of clutter and various objects.
Shed.
152?
That would be the western side of the barn. There's a large trailer,
Barn.
and around it you can just see all kinds of various items and clutter.
The barn.
153?
That'd be the northwest corner of the barn. A large number of tools and old saw blades and that kind of stuff.
As a member of the crime scene unit, do buildings with this amount of material in it pose any obstacles in doing a search?
Stop it.
They do, particularly at this time. Our resources were at a premium as we had a primary crime scene now at the scene of the residence in Windsor.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 154. Could you just briefly describe 154?
An overall shot of the size and interior of the barn.
It's a big barn.
155?
From that same corner, facing south across, you can see there's a second tractor behind that one and a vehicle near the entrance of the barn.
156?
More views are taken from across the other side inside the barn, just detailing rows of objects and items.
Jesus.
157?
A view looking north from the south entrance, looking back, and you can see the second trailer more clearly. And just a lot of piles of wood and debris.
Exhibit 70?
This was taken in October after the owner had been clearing out the barn. Objects were removed, and you can see there is now a black rifle propped up alongside those boards.
And I'm using the laser pointer. Deputy, can you turn your head? Am I identifying the right area where the rifle is located on Exhibit 70?
Yes.
And
I wonder
just for the record, that is slightly left
if any of
middle.
their original photos, the gun is in it.
Exhibit 71?
Just a closer view of the rifle.
And that rifle, is it your understanding that that rifle was found behind some boards?
Yes.
172? Or, I'm sorry, 72.
Wasn't
Just
just
a
sitting out there like that.
Closer view of the rifle.
Oh no.
Photographs and continuing all the way up to the rifle itself.
And what is picture 73 a picture of?
a close-up of the
Sure.
rifle, which shows the serial number on the upper portion.
If you want to glove up.
You want to glove up? We're bringing out the gun.
Thank you. Deputy, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 291. This end is much heavier. I would ask at this time that you open Exhibit 291 for yourself and view what is inside.
As this process is going on, I'll just let the jury know that obviously Randy is becoming involved in this part. He's responsible for the security of this room. So anytime, whether for evidentiary purposes or
You gonna
not,
check the gun?
firearm brought into this space, he takes a keen interest and role in that for everyone's safety and security.
Good job, Randy.
And
Way to look
Deputy,
out.
could you just tell me what Exhibit 291 is?
This is that same black rifle we saw in the photographs.
That you collected at the Irwin Road property hidden behind a board?
Correct. It is a Norinco
Right,
SKS
shot.
76 by 39 caliber rifle.
And is it in the same or substantially same condition as when you collected it?
Yes, it is a red dot sight and a camouflage colored strap on it.
I would move Exhibit 291 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
No objection. It is received.
And we'll give Randy a minute to secure it.
Gun safety, y'all. Gun safety.
Thank you, Randy.
Libby, gun safety.
Deputy, if you would take Exhibit 91 out of the box and display it carefully for the jury.
Who else talks to their animals? I do. I talk to my puppy. I talk to my puppy. She's a good girl. No, you don't have to get up. Don't get up. Don't get up.
If you want to
Stay
put
there.
it back in the box. Randy, did you want to take ownership of it or?
He's a good girl. You got nowhere to go over here. No, stay there. Stay. 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 Oh, jeez. It's fine.
Thank you. Box.
You just
that's
want it
because
to
the
be
tape is in the
closer.
box is not perfectly closed.
I'm on
Deputy, did you attend the
outside.
autopsy of Mr. Halderson's torso?
I did.
And that
Okay.
occurred at the medical examiner's office?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 553 and 554. I'm not going to ask you to remove these from the boxes or anything, but based on the markings that are on 553 and 554, could you please identify them?
What is that?
Item 553 is a jacket and fragment that was retrieved from the rear neck area of the torso. And item 554 is additional fragments from a bullet retrieved from the abdomen.
And those were retrieved from the torso by the medical examiner during the autopsy.
Correct.
I would move Exhibits 553 and 554 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
They are received.
They're not going to object to nothing. They're not going to say nothing. They're not going to do nothing. They're just going to sit there. What are they doing?
No further questions.
I
Cross-examination.
mean, we are in
Good morning,
Wisconsin.
Deputy.
Good morning.
Now, you Just so I'm
I
clear,
don't have
you
the death
searched this
penalty.
barn or shed at the Irwin address a couple of times?
There was an official search on the 12th that some detectives did, yes.
And there was a cursory search the night of the finding of the torso?
I wouldn't even call it a search, but yeah, like a walk around and the canine went through it.
Were you there for both of these events?
Yes,
Did you participate in the search? And I understand the first one may not have been technically the kind of search we're talking about, but did you participate both times in looking for things in that shed?
I documented the search by photographing it. I did not search per se myself.
Now, the first time, how many people were looking around that barn?
You're talking the first night on the 8th?
Yes.
4 of us, I believe.
And the second time, how many people were looking around that barn?
Without looking at the log, I don't recall who was all there, maybe 6.
And each time before looking or before searching, is it fair to say that discussions were had and a plan was made as to how to do the search and what things in particular would be notable?
Yes,
So for example, you might want to say, let's look for footprints or shoe impressions, correct?
as an example.
In this case, you knew about the torso with the gunshots before the second search, correct?
Yes,
So is it fair to say that one strategy for the search would be to look for any firearms, correct?
yes,
So what is your
Now, I heard you say that
implication?
resources were at a premium around the time of the second search. Did I get that correct?
yes.
The sheriff's department, or you in particular, between that moment when resources were at a premium and October, when this firearm
October.
was found in the barn, you didn't
The
go
barn.
back
God
to
dang
search
it.
further,
Stop it.
correct?
I did not. I can't
I
tell you if
can't.
there were additional searches.
Cannot help it.
There's no sheriff's department rules or protocol that would prevent anyone from going back and searching again, correct?
Well, we would, I mean, if we were going to do that, we would either need the permission of the homeowner or an additional search warrant. Given the circumstances, we would procure another warrant anyway.
And you obtained both of those the first time, right?
When I was there, yes.
Now, you took possession of the firearm, the SKS that was found in that barn, correct?
Yes,
So you physically lifted it up from its location, is that right?
yes.
Are you familiar with something called a flash suppressor?
No.
That's all I have, thank you.
Any redirect?
No.
May this witness be excused
Yes.
and released?
No.
All right, you're excused from testifying further today, sir. Thank you very
You
much. Have a good
cannot
rest of
release
your day.
any of their
next
witnesses.
witness,
They will
please.
call them back. What? Sticks, please. And guild. Guild.
Good morning. Well, you're able to safely and responsibly testify without a mask. That would be our preference. Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Good morning. Please state and spell your name for us.
My name is Dan Feeney, Dan, D-A-N.
Mr. Feeney.
N-E-Y.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a detective.
He's
with
a
the County
teacher.
Sheriff's Office
How long
Oh,
have you been in that role?
since May of 2021.
Early part of July 2021, were you asked to assist in the search of the Irwin Road property in reference to the homicides of Bart Halderson and Krista Halderson?
Yes, I was.
And what was your role in this search?
My role is searching the grounds on the Irwin Road property on foot.
Particularly at some point were you asked to search maybe the driveway leading down to the road, that area?
Yes.
I'm going to show
maybe.
you anything of evidentiary interest in this case.
Yes, I found some items in the garbage can.
All right. I'm showing you what's been marked.
Oh, no.
In this case is exhibit number 158
Find
to
the target
167.
bag.
Could you page through those real quick and just let me know when you're done, in general, what they are?
Did you find the garbage bag or the target bag?
These are the items that were located in the garbage can at the Irwin Road address.
And what were those items that were of interest to you?
It was a grocery style plastic bag containing some cleaning material. I believe it was white rags, as well as two Brillo pads inside of it.
Did you collect these items?
I did.
I think I've already moved all but two of them, 150 through 167, into evidence and asked to publish them.
No objection.
They are received. They may be published.
No objection.
They should appear on the computer monitor directly in front of you.
Starting with exhibit number 158, what are we looking at there?
You're looking at the garbage cans at the start of the driveway with the target bag located inside the garbage can in front of it.
And that target bag was, it's removed there, was it not?
Oh, he did find the bag
Inside the
in
garbage can
the
to the
trash
right
can.
with the black lid.
It's on the ground.
And exhibit 159, is that garbage can?
Yes.
When you found,
It was
go back to exhibit 158,
freaking
was
empty.
the only item that was in the garbage can?
Yes, it was.
Chandler,
160.
you're an idiot.
The bag was previously tied off, so we had opened it up to observe what was
You
inside the bag.
threw. Oh God.
161, what is that?
That is the sticker that was on the outside of the target bag.
Oh God.
That has a Melender, comma C, as the owner, or excuse me, the person that would have picked up the property from Target. And I know from the investigation, it's potentially Catherine Melender.
162, what are we looking at there?
This is the garbage bag, or the plastic bag inside of the Target bag containing the white rags and Brillo pads.
There's a red substance there that we can see.
Yes,
What did that appear to be to you?
there was a large amount of red and brownish substance. Through my training experience, I recognize as potentially dried blood.
163.
Objection, speculation.
Looking at the rags again with one of the Brillo pads.
You say Brillo pad kind of in the exact center where I'm pointing the laser up on the big screen. That's the Brillo pad?
Yep, that's what
Yes,
that
sir.
is.
Were those Brillo pads themselves stained or were they new?
No, they were used. They also had the similar brown reddish staining on it.
Cleaning up
as
the
rags
Brillo
did in the bag.
pads there.
64,
Chandler.
what are we looking at there?
Just the Target bag that was the exterior bag with the rags located in it.
Couple views of that. 165.
Same thing, yep.
166.
Interior of the bag.
167.
Wonderful
Interior
bag.
as well.
When you collected these items,
It's really.
do they have any sort of smell to them?
Yes, right when I opened up the bag, it was an immediate smell of what I describe as cleaning material. The closest thing that came to my mind was like rubbing alcohol. And it was just overtaken by a rancid, putrid smell.
Oh God.
Cross-examination.
Good morning, Deputy.
Morning.
Oh,
As
We're
part
talking.
of your role in this investigation at that Irwin Road location, you did canvass the area, correct?
I did.
Going from home to home, seeing if any surveillance,
Yes.
and just generally talking to people to see if they saw anything that might be helpful, correct?
Yes.
That's all, thank you.
Any redirect?
It's a pretty rural area.
Yeah, it's very rural. Yes.
Were there any direct next door neighbors right across the street from the driveway?
No, slightly down the roadway.
Thank you. No further questions.
May this just you may be excused from further testimony.
just excuse, not released. Jesus Lord, have mercy.
If we can do more, if they're the same length of time.
Yeah, that's fine, Judge.
Did you call James Plenty to the stand?
James Plenty. We've heard from him before. Because I said James is plenty. Yep.
Randy, I will need exhibit 174, which I believe is in your room.
Which is in your room. Go get it, Randy.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
And Deputy Plenty, I assume your name is still spelled the same as it was a few days ago.
Correct.
Nope, I changed it.
You previously testified that you were a deputy. Are you also a member of the crime scene unit?
That's correct as well.
Have you gone through any trainings in order to become a member of the crime scene unit?
Correct. I've attended a basic evidence technician school and other additional training for more specific areas of expertise in being part of the crime scene unit.
Okay. And could you just briefly list a few of those topics for the jury that you've had trainings on?
It would include, but not limited to, collection of DNA with a buccal swab, shooting reconstruction
Swab
school,
your cheeks.
blood splatter school, things of that nature as well, in addition to the basic evidence technician school that I've attended.
I'm tired.
And how long have you been a member of the crime scene unit?
Since 2012.
approach you with a series of photographs, exhibits 168 through 172. Then there's exhibits 544 and 545, as well as exhibits 345 through 358. Could you please look through exhibits 168 through 172, 544, and 545?
Speed it up there plenty.
As a group, how would you describe exhibits 168 through 172, and then 545 and 544?
In general, they are pictures of the bin that was recovered on the property in the township of Cottage Grove. To include some of the pictures will show a gray and colored tarp that is positioned inside of the bin as well.
And do all these photographs appear to be true and accurate?
Correct.
I would move 168 through 172 into evidence, and then 544 and 545 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
They are received.
And just for simplicity's sake, could you please look at 345 through 358?
I'm on the outside. I'm looking in. I have to speed this up, or I'm gonna fall asleep. 'Cause you are taking forever.
And how would you describe that grouping of photographs?
These photos were during a search and collection of footwear that was located at the property in the village of Windsor.
Do they all appear to be
Look
true
clear?
and accurate depictions of what you observed?
Correct.
I would move 345 through 358 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
They are received.
All right. And Deputy, if you would look at the little screen in front of you there,
No objections.
could you please describe, it says exhibit 58, but I know it's exhibit 158. Could you please
What's
describe
that?
exhibit 158 for the jury?
So this is a Rubbermaid brand indicated on the front side of it. It's not visible
What's the trash
from this
can?
picture, but it's a Rubbermaid brand trash bin. Stands probably approximately 3.5
Trash
inches.
can.
And it has a gray or silver colored tarp that was positioned in the inside of it. It's in a wooded area, approximately it was 10 yards within the wood line on that property.
And how would you describe 168?
This would be the same item, just a different
angle.
view of that same bin.
But
And
the-
169, I believe, how would you describe 169?
So
these.
what we have here is the same location, photograph of the same location. The only difference is that the bin with the tarp inside has been removed. It shows the vegetation that was underneath of the bin is still green and lush.
Why is that significant?
If the bin
I
had
mean,
been there
the
for a significant amount
bin
of time,
was
not
just
allowing
put
that
there.
vegetation to receive sunlight, then it would turn yellow, brown, and perhaps die.
Fresh.
Exhibit 170, what is exhibit 170?
What's that?
This line.
It's a tarp.
170 is a look into that same bin that I've mentioned already. It includes that tarp that I previously mentioned, and it has adhered to the side of the bin a yellow piece of what appear to be yellow duct tape.
And Deputy, if you would just turn your head towards the big screen, I'm going to use the laser pointer. Is this
No,
the
I
item that
understand.
you
I
are
don't
calling
see that.
yellow duct tape?
Correct.
Okay. And for the record, that is slightly lower than middle and slightly to the right on exhibit 170.
That's exactly.
Exhibit 171. Another picture of the
Another
garbage bin with the
picture
tarp and tape.
of the tarp.
All right. What is exhibit? Oh, I'm sorry. This has the wrong numbers on it. 544 display. You can look on your
The
screen.
trash
So what is
can.
this exhibit?
Yes.
What was your question?
Yes.
It is the same Rubbermaid bin that was recovered from just inside the woods. It also has the tarp that was included with that.
I'm sorry. That is actually 172. I apologize. Judge, can we switch to the Elmo?
Why?
I believe this will also be on the screen in front of you.
I can't see that.
Exhibit 544.
Yeah, it's trash bin. The trash can.
How would you describe exhibit 544?
I don't know. There's a glare. I can't see
Again,
it.
this is the Rubbermaid bin, and it shows another view angle of the yellow duct tape that was inside of that bin.
In an exhibit 544, I would describe the duct tape as slightly lower than middle and slightly to the left. Does that appear to be accurate?
Correct.
And 545. Just a crime lab view of the bin.
Side view of the Rubbermaid bin.
We can go back to the PowerPoint. Deputy, this part may be easier if you're actually willing to come down off the witness stand, if that's okay with the judge. We're just going to look at the stickers.
He didn't even wait for the judge to answer. He just came down. He said, "Fuck that judge."
To exhibit
I'm just
174.
coming.
Your offices. And what is exhibit 174?
Item 174 is listed as a black rolling garbage bin.
You got the trash can?
And I'm not going to open up exhibit 174, but that is the garbage bin that we've been looking at pictures in pictures 172 and such. Okay. So please sit
Why
down.
would you bring a trash can into court? That is silly. That is
And
silly,
Deputy, did
silly.
you, in
little
collecting
goose.
the garbage bin, did you remove the tarp from the garbage bin?
We did not.
Why didn't you do that?
We did not want to disturb the positioning of the tarp inside, and also or disturb any evidence significant to the tarp being inside of the trash can, the bin. We also knew that, or we had talked about sending it to the state crime
Anything
lab
of the
for
evidentiary
And in fact, it
value.
was submitted to the Wisconsin State Crime Lab.
correct.
All right, we're going to shift gears here. You were also
Still
part
awaiting
of the 4595 Old
results.
Spring Circle search, part of the crime scene unit there.
Correct.
Can you please describe what room exhibit 227 is in?
This is in the garage, which is attached to the residence.
And of note, specifically, this picture shows a whole bunch of shoes.
That's correct.
This picture.
Exhibit 345. What is
Last I
exhibit
checked, it was a
345?
picture.
345 is, like previously mentioned, a fair amount of footwear that was located in the garage.
And most of it is kind of out in the open.
Correct.
But there's something peeking back there. Do you go and search that area back behind the shelving unit?
Correct. So the shoes that are on this, what appears to be a rubber mat, I pulled that mat back towards myself and was
He's
able to
lazy as
retrieve
fuck,
what
man.
was a pair of shoes that were underneath the shelving unit.
546, another view of the mini shoes.
Correct.
And in this photo, 546, there appears to be some floral shoes at the top. Where were those floral shoes located?
So they were located underneath the shelving unit. In the previous photo, that black type mat that the shoes are resting on was forward towards the shelving unit. I pulled that back in order to have access to these other pair of shoes.
So the mat was in 545, the mat is up against the shelving unit.
Slightly under, correct?
And is
yeah.
that the floral shoes kind of peeking out there? Hidden?
Correct. That was the pair of shoes that I had pulled out from underneath.
All right.
And now are present in this photo.
347, what is displayed in photo 347?
347, it's the shoes that were located in front of the shelving unit, as well as the other pair that were positioned underneath the shelving unit as well.
And why did shoes become important in this case?
The state crime lab had advised that there were footwear patterns on tarps that were located during this investigation. So they wanted to have the footwear from the residents collected and photographed to document footwear patterns and types of shoes that were in the residence.
And exhibit 354, what is exhibit 354 a picture of?
These are Brooks brand shoes. Model would be Launch 5 athletic shoes.
355?
It's the same footwear, just with one of them turned upside down to display the footwear pattern.
And in 355, the shoe that is turned upside down, there appears to be twigs or grass or something in the
There's some
footbed.
organic debris on there. Yeah.
356, what is 356 a picture of?
So that is the same shoe that was in the previous slide that was turned upside down. What we see in that the left side line that runs up and down, there's a reddish brown stain towards the bottom of that line in the footwear tread.
Oh,
So
no.
I'm using my laser pointer to highlight. It appears to be almost smack dab middle in the photo.
Correct.
And what does 357 show?
Again, shows the same shoe that's turned upside down, but here this shows the toe area, the tip of the toe area, and there's red staining as well on that.
358, what does exhibit 358 show?
358 shows both shoes that are resting on the sole, and it shows the shoe, which is on the right side, has red staining on the tongue. On the N of the launch word has a reddish brown stain on it.
There should be some gloves up there if you want to glove up.
So they got the shoes, the crime scene, the Chandler shoes.
Also some scissors and an X-Acto
Snapple.
knife. I'm going to show you, Deputy, what has been marked as Exhibit 359. Could you please open up Exhibit 359 and just verbally say what is inside?
Y'all freaking snowing. It's snowing here. It was 80 degrees 3 days ago. Now it's snowing. What, you think you're gonna be out of school tomorrow? Yes. Ah.
And verbally, how would you identify Exhibit 359?
Their shoes. I've never
And
heard
do they
of
appear
that
to be in the
brand.
same or substantially the same condition as when you
Can you
collected?
turn her thing off?
At this time, I would move Exhibit 359 into evidence.
No objection.
All right, I'm just going to have you walk them in front of the jury, just back and forth. Thank you, Deputy. If you want to try to put them back in there.
I'm on the outside. I'm looking in.
That's pretty good. And of course, the staining on those shoes was swabbed by the crime lab.
Correct.
All right, you can go ahead and get rid of your gloves.
Would you stop telling him what to do, bro? Like, he is a... Well,
I'm going to show you Exhibit
it's not the same
348.
one,
What is
but
Exhibit 348?
still, stop telling them what to do.
348 is the right shoe of the shoes that were located underneath of the shelving unit. You can
Mama's
see the
shoe.
left shoe is at the top of the picture. Inside of this right shoe,
Oh, that
is
was
this
his dad's shoe.
wrapped item.
I'm
Oh,
only going to hold the bag, so I will let you glove up and open up.
she's bossy. I don't have much care for her. So into you. I'm into you. It's a problem. It's a little doohickey right here.
And I think removing one is fine. They're just a matching set. And is Exhibit 390?
It's usually how shoes work there.
From the 4595.
Genius.
Could you please just walk that shoe back and forth in front of the jury?
Why? They can see the picture. Is it necessary?
And feel free to put that back in the bag.
I don't think we moved that one into evidence.
Oh, I'm sorry. I moved 390 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
It is received.
Okay. And what does Exhibit 349 show?
So the previous slide showed a item that was wrapped in foil. This is then myself opening
Stop messing
this
with
foil
it. It's probably
wrapped item.
making a noise.
What we see here
it's gonna
is
annoy somebody.
a sheet of paper towel that is wrapped around the contents.
Fidgety.
We can see a portion of a photo Wisconsin driver's license, and just beyond that is the black item is a cell phone.
And in the process of searching and collecting evidence, did you in fact collect the foil and the paper towel as you described, displayed in Exhibit 349?
Correct.
Correct.
And I'm not going to have you open these if you can identify them from your office's stickers. 388, how would you describe 388?
388 is a paper towel sheet. In the photo.
Oh,
And I
that's
see
Mama's
JP, so
phone.
your initials, you collected it. And Exhibit 389, what is Exhibit
It's
389?
Mom's phone wrapped up in some foil.
All right, I would move 388 and 389 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
They are received.
And Deputy, do you continue to unwrap this evidentiary present?
I continue to unwrap it, correct.
And what is Exhibit 350 display?
So what we see here, we can still see the foil sheet. We can still see the paper towel sheet. We can see now Bart Halderson's Wisconsin issued photo driver's license, and we can see the Apple iPhone that is located underneath the driver's license.
What is
Really?
351 display?
So 351 is the top
Stop
phone
licking,
that we saw in the last
dog.
picture. It is now, along with the driver's license, simply just turned over, and we can see Krista's Wisconsin driver's license and an additional phone.
So both phones and driver's license were wrapped together in the same packaging?
Correct.
Why in the world would they be
Describe
wrapped up
352?
like that?
Again, it's the foil, it's the paper towel sheet, it's the two phones. Bart's driver's license is not visible. It's on the underside of the left phone. We can see Krista's driver's license resting on top of the phone on the right side.
And 353.
And this would be Krista's Wisconsin driver's license and a phone located underneath of that.
And I don't think you need to glove up. I'm not going to ask you to open up any of these items. Actually, I'm going to have you sit down so we can hear you nice and clear. Exhibit 387. How would you describe Exhibit 387?
It is a photo Wisconsin driver's license that's been issued to Christina Halderson.
And has your nice initials on there?
That's correct.
And it appears to be in the same condition as when you collected it?
It does.
I would move Exhibit 387 into evidence. No objection.
It is received.
Exhibit 386. How would you describe Exhibit 386?
Photo Wisconsin driver's license that's been issued to Bart Halderson, and it does have my initials on it and in the same condition.
Okay. I would move Exhibit 386 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
And 384 and 385. Would you please describe 384 and 385?
384 is iPhone that was located in the foil packaging. It has my initials on it, and while it's packaged, I would believe it's in the same condition as when I had recovered it. And 385 is a white iPhone, which was in the pictures that were previously shown. Again, my initials are on it, and I would imagine it was in the same condition as when I had recovered that one.
And these are the phones that were wrapped in the paper towel, wrapped in the foil, hidden in a shoe, hidden under a shelf.
Correct.
I would move 385 and 384 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
They are received.
It's a weird place for them to be.
Deputy, in the course of this investigation, were you asked to take a buccal sample from Chandler Halderson in compliance with a search warrant?
Correct.
And did you in fact do that?
I did.
Could you please identify, do you see Mr. Halderson in the courtroom today?
I do.
Just so that we're consistent with our record, I'd ask everyone who's not in the jury box to lower their mask briefly so that the witness can observe every face. Thank you. Go ahead and replace your mask.
Do you see Mr. Halderson?
I do.
Could you please identify him by where he's seated and perhaps the color of his shirt?
He is seated at the defense table. The shirt is
He's the defendant.
lavender type color.
I would ask the record to reflect that the witness has identified Mr. Halderson.
Good job.
And what is a buccal swab?
It's the swabbing of inside of the mouth. So we're collecting DNA sample from that area.
And does it come in a kit, or what tools do you use?
It comes in an envelope, which includes 2 swabs to administer the test.
And you've had training on this procedure?
Correct.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 360. I'm not going to ask you to open it, but could you please identify Exhibit 360?
It is the buccal swabs that I had collected from Mr. Halderson. It is initialed by myself as well.
All right, at this time, I would move Exhibit 360 into evidence.
No objection.
It's received.
Fantastic. Good work. Teamwork.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Nope.
Deputy Plenty,
Okay.
this was your first time in the Halderson household, correct?
I'm sorry, what's that question?
This was your first time being in the Halderson household, correct?
In the Halderson house?
Yes.
This incident, correct?
So prior to this incident, you've never been in the home?
Correct.
That's
You
what
wouldn't
he
know
said.
where exactly all shoes in the household are located, correct?
By the end of the search, we had gone through the house pretty thoroughly, and I had located or had pointed out to me the shoes that were located in the house.
So by the end of the search, you were very familiar where all the shoes in the home were located, correct?
Correct.
But you don't necessarily know if that's where they were located prior to this incident or if they were always kept in the same place.
Where the shoes were kept in the household prior to our arrival to it,
Correct.
where the shoes were located, I wouldn't know where they're commonly located.
And it looks like as
The
far as all
hell?
of the shoes, there were a couple shoes that were located in or we saw in those photographs, correct?
There's several shoes, correct?
And it looks like only one pair of shoes had any kind of staining of interest. Is that fair?
Correct.
And as far as the staining on those shoes, I believe we were able to identify maybe 3 little stains. Does that sound about right?
I don't recall the exact number, but I can think of 3 stains that were on the shoes, correct?
And the shoes, would you identify them or would you describe them as being worn? They were worn shoes.
Correct.
It's obvious that they were used regularly, correct?
They've been used, yes.
And there was even some debris located on the bottom of the shoes as well, correct?
Correct.
I have no further questions for you. Thank you.
Any redirect?
They were
Yeah.
used
Maybe students
and
be excused?
You may.
the blood could have gotten on them from something
Everyone,
else.
Yes, we're at the 90-minute marker, a little past. Thank you, folks. We'll take a 15-minute break at this time.
Woohoo! Take a break. Oh goodness, where is it? Where are we? What is it good for? Where is it? We go to this one. This one. I'm gonna work on my camera angles. There we go. She doesn't like your toothbrush.
Attorney Raymond.
You know that.
Thank you. Deputy Gregory to the stand.
Greg Leatherberry. They have fantastic names.
Good morning. Sir, if you feel you can do so safely and responsibly, testifying without the mask would be the preference if you can. Thank you so much. Go right ahead.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record, both first and last, and spell both?
Greg Leatherberry, Greggleatherberry.
How are you employed?
I'm a deputy sheriff with the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
And were you employed as such in July of 2021?
Yes, I was.
And what unit of the Dane County Sheriff's Office do you belong to?
I'm currently assigned to the crime scene unit where I've been working for the past 22 years. I've been a deputy sheriff with the Dane County Sheriff's Office for 29 years.
And I'm going to show you, Deputy, what has been marked as Exhibit 175. How would you identify Exhibit 175?
I like to whisper.
This is my CV.
And for those that are not in the
Says
scientific community,
resume.
it's like a resume,
That is correct, yes.
but it has all your trainings. And can you just name a few of the trainings that you have
No.
participated in?
I
We don't need to.
participated in the basic recruit academy, the jail school. I went on to patrol and ultimately ended up in the crime scene unit where I've received numerous hours of training. I've received training at Fox Valley Technical College for the 2-week evidence tech program. I have attended the Wisconsin State Death Investigation School, the 2-week program at Green Lake. I've attended the Death Investigation School at Northwestern University. I've attended the ballistic and pattern analysis training at the BCA in Minnesota, which is the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. I've had fingerprint training from the FBI.
Enough,
and there's
bro.
numerous
Enough.
more, schools as well.
At this time, I would move Exhibit 175
Thank
to
you.
evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received.
As part of your job working for the Dane County Sheriff's Office Crime Scene Unit, do you also work in cooperation with the Crime Scene Unit from the Department of Justice?
That is correct. Yes, I do.
And do you also work in concert with the Wisconsin State Crime Lab?
Yes.
How does working in cooperation with those departments assist you in your job duties?
Well, they have subject matter experts that have more extensive
Subject
training
matter
in particular
jurisdiction.
disciplines that
Y'all.
can assist us when it comes to processing a scene or to do further analysis of evidence that we collect. And those items that get submitted to the crime lab are items that they would do the analysis on that we request for them to do.
In the midst of this case, were you asked by the fingerprint expert at the Wisconsin State Crime Lab to get more complete or better fingerprints from Mr. Halderson?
Yes, there's a request for additional fingerprints. When a person is typically booked into the jail, the fingerprints are obtained on everybody that is booked in. And those are just basic fingerprints. Sometimes they need what they refer to as major case prints. And the major case prints would include additional areas of the finger that contain friction ridge that is normally not collected during the booking process.
So basically, those major case prints would include the sides of each finger.
That is
or
correct.
a rolling print.
That is correct.
And for the record, do you see the person whose fingerprints you collected in the courtroom?
I'll ask before the witness answers for everyone outside of the jury box to lower their mask for a few moments so that the witness can see everyone's face. Go ahead and replace your masks, please.
Do you see Chandler Halderson?
Yes, I do.
Could you please identify him by where he's seated and perhaps the color of his shirt?
He is seated to the table to my right. He's wearing a dark sports coat and appears to be a dark tie with a light colored shirt.
I would ask the record to reflect the witnesses identify the defendant.
It shall.
Could you please identify what is marked as exhibit 362?
Colorblind.
These are fingerprints
get
that were
colors.
obtained during a search warrant of Mr. Halderson.
And those are the prints that you collected?
Yes, they are.
And these are those rolling prints?
Correct.
At this time, I would move exhibit 362 into evidence. No objection.
They are received.
Rolling prints. Rolled them. That's hard. It's hard to do your rolling them.
What was your primary task in this investigation?
Well, the primary task in this investigation is the evaluation of the crime scene, the documentation of the crime scene, the collection of the evidence, and the preservation of the evidence, so that could be later tested if need be.
And specifically, were you basically in charge of the search at the 4595 Oak Springs Circle address in Dane County, Wisconsin?
Yes, I was.
Take a drink, sir.
Just generally, how do you process a crime scene such as a complete single-family home?
Well, the process of the crime scene, although it may sound simple, is pretty complex, and it takes a number of different things for that to be accomplished. And one person obviously not
said
doing
it
all by
was
themselves. And I
easy,
had significant
sir.
help from Deputy James Plenty and Deputy Eric Schneider, as well as members of the Wisconsin State Crime Laboratory Field Response and the Wisconsin Department of Criminal Investigations Arson Response Unit.
What's the first thing you do when you enter a home to begin a search?
Well, the first thing is we're taking photographs and we're
Taking
evaluating and
pictures.
getting a better understanding as to what had occurred at the scene.
I think you described to me that at first you guys walk around quiet.
That is correct.
Tell us about that.
What I like to do, and it's worked for me over the years, I learned this from my
Walk around
predecessor,
quiet.
that when we go into the crime scene, whether I'm with my partner Jim Plenty or with Eric Schneider, that we take everything in, we take our notes in with us. But when I say we take everything is, we don't talk to each other. We evaluate the entire scene, and we don't talk to each other because we don't want to taint each other's mind. Each person may see things a little bit differently. So I found it's best that we walk through the scene, evaluate the scene, and then after we've done a complete walkthrough of the scene and we've done our evaluation, then we talk amongst each other. And we're not only getting understanding as to what each other has seen, but we're also forming a game plan as to how we were going to process this scene and what additional resources we may need to call in.
So that first time that you guys walk through in silence helps you map out a game plan.
That is
for the
correct.
specific scene.
And I've referred to it as like a golden hour. It takes a significant amount of time to go through a house as large as that.
And you said you photographed the whole area.
That is correct.
Now, let me ask you, when you guys are walking around, do you wear anything special to assist you?
Oh, absolutely. We're getting understanding of what has occurred at the scene. And by doing so, we have to walk throughout the scene. So we wear booties and we wear gloves. In addition,
Booties.
obviously, we would have flashlights to help us look in areas to illuminate that aren't well lit. And it doesn't matter if there's lights in the room or not, we still would have our flashlights with us.
And you're doing your best to take in the scene without potentially disturbing it.
Correct. We refer to that as minimizing contamination. No matter what you try to do, you are going to contaminate the scene by entering and walking around. There's no way about it. We cannot float through space. But we minimize the contamination. So it does take a while for us to get through the scene. It is a process. It's a systematic approach. You just can't be walking haphazard through the scene. Again, we're relying on that scene to get us information. So we have to take everything in.
All right, and Deputy, I'm going to show you some exhibits.
Float through
And I'm going to
space.
have you briefly look through them. And these are exhibits 176 through 302, as well as 551 and 552. I'm just going to have you briefly peruse those.
You already said that.
Just let me know when you're finished.
I'm done.
And if I could have HDMI left, I have it on a blink.
Does that ever irritate anybody else? Like you feel so much pressure. Just let me know when you're done reading this 5-page document. I'm a slow reader, bro. You're gonna just sit here and wait on me to finish reading this? Please don't. I'll read good. Oh, come on, sir. She's gonna ask me questions about him. Oh, you are. Dark-haired lady, snarky. I wish I knew what the defense was doing. I don't know, and it's irritating. Like, normally, you would think, like, they're going because, I don't know. I mean, the difference is you get life
Oh, sorry.
with parole or life without
As a group
parole.
deputy, how would you describe
They
the
don't have
photos,
the death
exhibits that are
penalty in Wisconsin, so
These are
there's no
photographs of
point.
the interior of
So I guess
4595
that's the
Oak Springs
difference.
Circle in the
Whether
village
you
of Windsor,
get death-
Wisconsin.
And as exhibits, do they appear to be true
I
and
don't
accurate
know.
depictions of what you observed on the scene?
Yes, they are.
All right, so at this time, I would move exhibits 176 through 193, 195 through 205, 204 through 218,
That would be the reason to
220 through 225,
go to trial.
227 through 248, 252 through 278, 292 through 302, as well as 551 and 552,
Jesus
and 310
Christ
through 312
almighty.
into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
Those are all received and may be published.
We are not going to go through all of those.
So, Deputy, just to begin with, how would you describe the Halderson home just in general?
I would describe the overall condition of the house be half finished and half in state of repair. It appeared to be some renovations occurring within
They
inside
were
of the
renovating
residence.
it. It's not
Yeah,
half
and they were
finished.
still living within the house. So then there were areas that were completed with the renovations.
Did that pose any challenges to you and your team during the search?
Nothing significant. No.
All right, and I'm exhibit 176. How would you describe exhibit 176?
Exhibit 176 is a photograph of
shit.
the living room, which I call on the main level of the residence. And we are looking to the west. In the far left corner, there's the entrance door to the residence that is just above grade. Directly in the middle of the photo, there's a set of stairs that ascend up to the upper level. The stairs go up to what I refer to as the bedroom level. The house is of a tri-level construction. So then there'll be an area that descends to the lower living room, family room area, and then yet again, there'll be a basement as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Why? Why do you need a sidebar? So, okay, so you're going to have, like, that's the front door. Oh, shit. This is the front door. And you come in, this is the kitchen, dining room area. This is the stairs. And then right down here is where you
Right,
go
and
down to the ocean.
what is exhibit 178?
That is
Okay.
a photograph of the west wall of the same room. I'm sorry, that is the east wall of the same room that we were just in. We're just looking at the fireplace. That is a gas sealed fireplace.
And a fireplace becomes significant in this case.
Yes, it does.
Is this the fireplace that became of any significance?
No, it is not.
Just in general, did the living room have any significant evidentiary value?
No, it did not.
Moving on, what does exhibit 177 display?
The dining room.
Exhibit 177 is a photograph in that same living room. It is from
Is it so
the
dark?
southeast corner, and now we're able to look out towards the north, and there's the dining room.
Oh, God.
And this is actually exhibit 9, an exhibit that we've seen earlier. But what does exhibit 9 display?
This is a photograph of the dining room, and now we're able to see a portion of the kitchen that is to the northwest of this
Is that
room.
like a
And again, did the dining room have
window
any significant evidentiary value to your investigation?
No, it
to
did
the
not.
outside?
What is exhibit 179?
Or door?
179 is a photograph that is taken from the doorway between
I
the
wonder what their
living
backyard
room
looks like.
and the kitchen. This is the kitchen area. So standing at this doorway and looking to the north, we can see an exit door on the north side. And directly behind me, or opposing this, would be
Should
the
look it up
entrance to the
in Zillow.
residence.
So that door there, does that go into the backyard or to somewhere else?
That opens up into the backyard. There's a set of stairs that descend down to the west.
Right. Was there anything really of note in your investigation in the kitchen?
No, there was not.
Exhibit 180, what is seen there?
This is the stairwell leading up to the second level, or the bedroom level. And to the left in this photograph would be the front door, and then to the right would be to the kitchen.
And there's some blue tape, it appears, above a light switch in Exhibit 180. Was that there when you arrived on scene, or is that part of your?
What's
All
painter's
these
tape?
photographs are how we found the scene.
Okay.
This is an initial walkthrough. We have not done anything at this point. So that is not from us. That was artifact from whoever placed that there previously.
How would you describe 181?
181 is a photograph at the top of the stairs facing to the west. We can see an open door in the right portion of the photograph. And then there are two doors to the left on the left side of this. What you can't see around to the right is another door to a bathroom. And then if you were to button hook around the corner to the right in this photograph, there's another bedroom.
Exhibit 182, how would you describe it?
This is a photograph of the first room on the left that I referred to in the previous photograph. This is the doorway that opens up into the laundry room. This room appears to be under renovation. There's a lot of supplies in this room for insulation. There's some flooring in this room as well. It appears that the plywood flooring on the floor has been put down as part of the renovation.
183, please describe it.
This is the same laundry room. This would be in the southwest corner of the laundry room. It appears to be a makeshift area where one would have their toiletry items and stuff you would normally find in a bathroom.
184, more the same there.
That is correct, yes.
Oh, that's when
185
mommy
is
got
different
ready.
That is correct, yes.
Like her community.
186.
This is a
What's
photograph of a
toothbrush in there?
toothbrush that was located on the makeshift vanity, if you will, that was later collected as evidence.
And why was this toothbrush head collected?
The toothbrush was collected as a DNA source for what we believe to be Chandler Halderson. Most of the items that were in that area were consistent with what a woman would have in their bathroom area. So we could assume that it was from Chandler Halderson.
And Krista was in fact the only female residing at that location.
To my knowledge, that is correct.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 194. No need to glove up. I'm not going to ask you to open it. But can you tell from stickers from your office and perhaps initials what Exhibit 194 is?
Exhibit 194 has been marked with evidence number 41748. This is an electric toothbrush head that was collected and had subsequently gone and been submitted to the Wisconsin State Crime Laboratory, as their stickers are fixed on here as well.
I would move Exhibit 194 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
It is received.
What does Exhibit 187 display?
187 is a photograph of the floor in the laundry room area. Specifically, we can see there are two alpha markers on the floor that have been placed by items of evidence.
And of course, I'm the one who arranged the photos. So these photos were taken after you put down some placards.
That is correct.
Somebody
And
redid
what's
this
Exhibit
house.
188?
Exhibit 188 is a reddish brown stain that has been marked with the letter A in the laundry room on the floor.
189, the same but with the letter B.
That is correct.
What does Exhibit 190 display?
190 is a photograph in that same laundry room. This is, if you were to break the room in half, if you will, there was a washer and dryer in the previous photographs. There's a wall that separates the room. And there's a vacuum cleaner in this photograph, as well as some insulation and some flooring boards, was what it appears to be.
191.
This is
Okay,
the vacuum
hold
cleaner
on.
that I
Hold on,
collected
hold on,
from
hold on,
the
hold on.
bathroom.
And why was the vacuum cleaner collected?
During the evaluation portion of the processing of the crime scene, I identified that there was blood on the side of the vacuum cleaner. And I had further tested that blood with phenolphthalein, which gives us a presumptive positive.
Blood on the vacuum cleaner.
Under the appearance, they appeared to be blood, but we need to confirm those stains. So we confirmed those stains with phenolphthalein.
Okay, hold on. So I don't know when they did this or what, but the house don't look like that no more. Hold on. Beautiful though, I will say that. It's definitely been updated. Look at that. So that is the outside. There's the upstairs again. Look at the kitchen. The kitchen doesn't look like that no more. They painted the bricks. I wonder who did this. I wonder if, like, the family did it. Like, what? I'd be interested. And then this is the downstairs. Remember, that's where dude kept his bed. Right here. And that's the outside door. And there's the backyard. It's an awesome backyard. They got 3 doors to the backyard. Jesus. So it is on a pond. That's upstairs again. Another view. They redid all the stairs. They redid everything. I would imagine maybe they had a hard time selling it, or they thought they would. Look at those windows. Those are windows. The big, what do they call those? Portrait windows, something like that. It's beautiful. It really is. It's definitely super, super pretty. I don't like that though. Why can't they get rid of that? I don't understand the stove oven in the wall. I don't get it. I don't know. That's, yeah. Okay. Again, more of the same. So that's the fireplace. He burnt the bodies, some of them. I guess that was the little office area, and that was the bathroom downstairs. The mudroom, the garage. And then it has a basement still. So it's got the tri-level. This is the basement, then the kitchen, and then the thing, and then they still have a basement. It's a big ass house, man. It's a bedroom, bathroom. Is it the bathroom upstairs? Yeah. Bedroom. This is the bathroom downstairs. Hey, they kept most of that. They kept the downstairs the same as, so that's 1 door, 2 door. I guess that's from the garage, coming out of the garage, but that's the basement door. This is the door coming out of, what, the kitchen? I guess. Pond. There's the dining room. It's a nice ass house, though. It's a cool house. I know what the square footage is. Oh, take me back. What is that? 2-car garage. Where am I? 23. You would think that is more than that. Sold on September 30th, 2022. So somebody just bought it. That's crazy. So I wonder how long I'd been on the market. I don't know. Interesting. Huh. $450,000. It's a good chunk of change. It's definitely a different look. Cool. It's a nice house. Nice house. It's a shame. It's a shame. Because they didn't show the basement. Why didn't they show the basement? Or the garage? That's upsetting. Huh. I mean, it was even nice when the Haldersons had it. And they were trying. They were getting there. Fucknut just got in the way.
There
Right.
is a subsequent test yet again. It is called a hexagon OBTI test. This test
His voice
differentiates between human and
irritating the hell
non-human
out of
blood.
me.
And that test was positive.
For human blood or non-human blood?
Positive for human blood.
So the first test you do is phenolphthalein, and is that just like a chemical that you apply to a swab or something else?
Correct. So we take a swab and we put a drop of sterile water on the swab to collect a portion of that stain, and then we use the phenolphthalein solution, placing a drop onto the swab, followed by another chemical on top of that. And when it turns to a bright purple color almost instantly, that's an indicator that the presence of blood.
And then you perform a second test to say,
Correct.
is this
No, we don't-
human or is this something else?
Correct. Now, we don't do that on every stain that we collect. We don't do the second test. The second test differentiates between human and non-human blood.
And why do you sometimes not do the second test?
It depends if it's in an area where there's a concentration of stains, and they can all potentially be from the same source. It's a tool that we utilize in order to be more effective in getting evidence tested at the crime lab. We're limited in the number of items that we can submit to the crime lab. We cannot submit everything that we collect. So this is a screening tool that we utilize in order to help us look at the best probative value of that piece of evidence. So if we collect a stain, but we don't know what it is, we basically could be wasting somebody's time at the crime lab. Whereas if we're able to do the phenolphthalein test followed by the hexagon OBTI test, then we're basically utilizing the resources to the best of our ability.
Moving on to Exhibit 192. What is Exhibit 192?
This is the side of the vacuum cleaner that was in that same laundry room. It's marked with letter E.
193.
It's the same
Stop.
photograph. We put numerical markers in there
Mouth.
indicating the individual stains that were collected from the side of the vacuum cleaner.
Now, is it fair to say when you are looking at this scene, you don't necessarily know everything else that's occurring in the investigation? Is that fair?
That is fair. However, we do rely on communication. The success of any investigation when it relates to the crime scene investigators and the detectives involves communication. We are guided by information that we're getting from them. And additionally, we are providing information outside of the scene because they don't know everything that's going on inside the scene, just like we don't know everything that's happening outside of the scene.
And is it fair to say that sometimes you might think something is evidence of something and then learn another fact later on and it has an innocent explanation?
Absolutely.
Exhibit 10. Please describe Exhibit 10 for the jury.
Exhibit 10 is a photograph of the bedroom that would be in the southwest corner of the bedroom level. This would be the doorway that was beyond the laundry room door on the same side of that hallway. Looking in here, this is the bedroom of Chandler Halderson.
Exhibit 11, another view of Mr.
Jesus,
Halderson's
Correct. This is a view
clean
from
your
the
damn
entrance
room.
facing to the to the west and to the
God.
southwest.
Slob
bedroom. Could you
ass.
describe Exhibit 195?
This is the bedroom of Bart and Krista Halderson. This is in the northwest corner of the
What
residence.
is that on
on
the
the bedroom
wall?
And was there much that you found in their bedroom that was of evidentiary value to you?
No, there was not.
How would you describe Exhibit 196?
Exhibit 196 is a photograph of what I would call a spare bedroom. This would be the bedroom that I refer to as button hooking around the corner. So this on the bedroom level, this would be in the northeast corner.
And again, was there much evidence collected from this room?
So
No,
there's
there was
4 bedrooms.
Describe Exhibit, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to put in the 551, please.
Is this a bedroom or
Exhibit
was this?
551 is a photograph of the room that is between the bedroom of Bart and Krista Halderson, in the northwest corner. And the previous photo, that spare bedroom, this room is between the two of them. So the wall to the right would butt up against the wall of that spare bedroom. This is a bathroom that is under renovation.
And this is exhibit 552. Why'd you take this picture?
Well, I had previously been out to the crime scene at Irwin Road and was
What is that?
aware that there was a Rubbermaid rolling storage garbage type bin that was at that scene. And I
Oh, was that
saw
the lid?
This cover was consistent with a cover that would fit that type of rolling garbage bin. Mind you, this photograph
Shitballs McGee.
was taken after the initial walkthrough. And I had
Is
also
that a
saw
match?
in the garage area, there was
We got a
another refuse
match?
container consistent with appearance of the same Rubbermaid rolling storage garbage bin.
And the exhibits we've looked at, is that the entire bedroom level? Are there any more rooms left?
There are no more rooms. There's a attic crawl space above the entrance to the bathroom.
And did you search that?
That was searched as well.
Anything of any evidentiary value found in the attic crawl space?
No, there was not.
Exhibit 197. What is exhibit 197?
We
Exhibit
already went
197
through this.
is the doorway opening to the bathroom.
Video.
This is on the family room / office
Video
level.
form.
Also located on the same level would be access to the garage. So this level is at grade.
Is this the same level as the kitchen and dining room?
No, it is not. This is
No.
down one level. So we enter into the house through the front door.
Come on, lady.
And that is the main
Get it
level, if you
together.
will. And we ascend up the stairs to the left or to the west, and that's the bedroom level. As I spoke earlier of the photograph of the back door to the kitchen, and I referred to the front door being directly behind me. If I was to turn to the left and
Zilla
look down,
only.
I would have another set of
See,
stairs that would
Zilla
descend
says it's
down
3
into
beds,
the,
3
the
baths.
family room, office, and garage level.
Exhibit 16. How would you describe exhibit 16?
I don't
This
believe
is a photograph of the shower
that. I
just within the
counted
bathroom.
4 bedrooms.
Anything of note at all in the bathroom?
In the bathroom, there were stains that were blood stains that were on the
I said
baseboard.
3 beds too.
And you called them blood. Does that mean you did the phenolphthalein test?
I did not do the phenolphthalein test on those. Crime scene investigator, Deputy Jim Plenty.
'Cause it was
did
a
the,
spare
test on
bedroom.
those.
And you guys often rely on each other's work being partners.
Yes, we do.
Was that laundry room?
Moving on to exhibit 546.
There's
Would you please
the
describe
office
exhibit
area
546?
thingy I just said.
Exhibit 546 is a photograph of what I refer to as the office area. As you can see in the near portion on the left side of this image, there is a wall. If we were standing at that wall and went around the corner, we would be looking straight at the entrance to the
Upstairs.
bathroom. So the bathroom is just to the left and beyond this office area.
And is this a photo, if you know, before you search the area and move things around, after, or something else?
This photograph was taken prior to any processing or anything being done.
And there was some items of note found in this area. Is that fair to say?
That is correct, yes.
And in collecting and photographing, is it fair to say you moved some of the paperwork?
Yes.
Okay. So in exhibit 543, there appears, how would you describe exhibit 543?
Exhibit 543 is a stack of papers and binders that were under the monitor that were on the desk.
Okay. And that's before you moved items again?
That is
It
correct.
was on the market for 73 days.
And then 198, how would you describe exhibit 198?
These were photographs that were taken after the search of this area.
And exhibit 543, there's an item there circled. Is that fair to say?
That is correct. It's a piece of paper that had writings on it and appeared to me to be consistent with access codes or passwords. Again, not knowing the relevance or importance of it, we simply just photographed it.
And to photograph it, you moved it?
That is correct, yes.
And that's exhibit 198?
Yes.
I'm going to approach you with exhibit 203. What is exhibit 203?
So I was reading, it said, it looks like it was listed. So they must have bought it in 2016, maybe. Does that sound right? I don't know. But then this family must have sold it in May of 22. So shortly after the trial. And whoever bought it because they sold it for. I wonder if the bank, the bank foreclosed on it. I wonder, because it was. I think it just foreclosed on it because it was listed for the same amount that it sold for on 5/9/22. So I'm pretty sure the bank just foreclosed on it. And then it was listed in September of 22. I said it was on the market for 73 days, but if it was listed on 9/2 and then sold on 9/30, it wasn't on the market that long. I don't know, but basically the bank had it at $295 and it sold for $450. And so whoever put all that money into it, or however it got all that money put into it, somehow, some way, it damn near doubled in price. Huh. It added about 150 grand to its selling price. So, I don't know. Real estate is a fickle thing, but I don't know. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm sorry. I got
Exhibit
sidetracked.
203 is the actual documents that I had photographed. They're basically written in pen and pencil. There's some typed login information is what I refer to them as.
So basically every IT person's worst nightmare, a list of passwords.
Absolutely.
And can you just look at this briefly? And before some of them, it says you, like username. Is that fair to say? There's a U before.
Yes, it appears to have a U, which I would assume would be username, and then below it there's a P, which I would assume to be password.
And I just want you to look roughly how many passwords are on these sheets of paper in Exhibit 203. There's a back.
There's a back. I would suggest that there is no less than 45 to 50, as some of them appear to have been
Passwords?
And there are additional writings around the outside border of this document as well.
And is
Somebody
Exhibit
was trying to
203
figure
the
out
same
passwords.
as it was when you collected it from the Halderson
What?
Yes,
What are you
it is.
trying to
Although I
find a
was not
password
the
to?
person that collected it, I was present at the time that it was collected.
Fair enough. At this time, I would move Exhibit 203 into evidence.
Fair enough.
Proceed.
Based on the paperwork you went through and the totality of the desk area, could you tell whose desk it was?
There was a computer that was there. It was had a business card on it for a financial company in Middleton, and I came to the conclusion that that was the desk and office area for Bart Halderson.
And were you made aware during the investigation that he had been working from home like many people during 2021?
Yes, I was. I was aware of that.
What, downstairs?
And Exhibit 546. What is the red circled area in 546?
I believe that's around the documents that were collected.
And there's kind of one highlighted there in the screenshot from 543, which again was the video from the home.
Are you
that
sure
was
that's
previously
his
taken.
area
Thanks for the jury.
and
Is that a
that
fair
fuck
description?
nuts?
Yes.
And did you specifically move a document there, that document to be on top of the keyboard to photograph it?
I did not specifically move that, although it was moved there so that it could be photographed. Yes.
Sure, by one of the other members of the crime scene.
That is correct.
And is that common to move items to aid in photography?
Absolutely.
But you are sure to document where it originally was first, is that fair?
That is correct as well.
Exhibit 201, is that a further picture of that document?
Yes, it is.
What is it? Sorry, I keep it in it. I'm not used to it. Let me move it.
Deputy, I'm
Can I
going to
move it
approach you
back?
with Exhibit 202.
Move it that way.
How would you describe Exhibit 202?
Exhibit 202 is the actual document that was previously shown on the screen, the photograph, is an email which appears to be from Chandler Halderson to a person named Bart. And the subject matter says Madison College. In the backside, it looks like a letter to Mr. Chandler Halderson from Citizens Bank.
And does this appear to be in the same condition as you saw it in the home?
Yes, it is.
At this time, I would move Exhibit 202 into evidence. Actually, Your Honor,
202. Oh no. She's in trouble. Why? Why did you need to approach? Nothing. You had nothing to say. Water's probably warm. Come on. Come on. I'm gonna look through some pictures. I just feel like I'm breathing real heavy into the mic, and I apologize. I really don't like heavy breathers. So if I am, I'm really sorry.
Specific to the gray and white object, which is a Google.
Hey, Google Home.
Is it the Google version of an Alexa, basically?
That is my understanding, correct,
It's
yes.
called a
I believe it's
Google
called a
Home.
Google Nest.
That is correct, yes.
No,
Why was this picture taken?
a Google Nest
Well, in the overall
is a thermostat.
totality of everything, I saw that all of the cords were
called a
plugged
Google
into one
Home.
central area. However, the cord that would plug into the outlet to power all of these was unplugged. So there was no power to the desk, if you will, which is where a number of these items were getting the electricity from.
Were there any other Google Nests throughout the home?
Yes, there was. In
Which-
the
It's a
main
Google
entry-level
Home.
living room, when you enter in through the front door,
Stop it.
there was a Google device on the north wall of the living room. That Google device was unplugged. There was also a Google device that was located in the basement area, and that Google device was also unplugged.
Was that significant to you at all?
It was. It drew attention because I recall the previous case out of the state of Arkansas where there was a motion in the trial there to attempt to get any information that that listening device could have recorded, not just what was said when the wake-up word is used. So I thought it might have had some significance. That's why I photographed it.
Huh.
And one additional question about the desk area. Was there a
Interesting.
phone charger located on the desk area?
Yes, there was a phone charger, and if I recall, it was for like an iPhone.
Judge, this might be a good
They
one
can
stop.
listen
Very good.
through those?
We will return at 1 o'clock.
What? You can listen through those? That's good to know. I don't know. Listen to me. I don't care. I also have cameras in my bedroom now. Pointed at the wall. But hey. All right. That is the first half of day 5. What do we got for the rest of day 5? We've got another 2 hours of day 5 to go. And then we're done with day 5. What are we going to do after this, y'all? I think, so I'm not going to do it live, but I think, and I'm not going to do the whole trial, but I did follow the Daryl Brooks thing. And tomorrow, because today is 11/14 of 2022, and tomorrow is the day that they do his victim impact statements And is that what they're called? I think that's what they're called. Yeah, sure. And for his sentencing. So I'll probably watch it with whoever's covering it tomorrow. And then I'll probably do my own react to it later. Just because that was a hell of a trial to watch. So I'm interested to see on how that goes tomorrow. It should be interesting, and hopefully he behaves and can keep his shit together for the people that he affected in his temper tantrum that he threw and all the lives he destroyed because of whatever reason he had. I don't know. But anyway, so I think I'm going to do that tomorrow because it's for the next 2 days. So they're going to get the victim impact statements, and then they're going to do sentencing. So it'll be interesting to see how he does with the sentencing and with all the. I hope he can sit in there and not get. I hope they don't remove him at this point. Bind and gag his ass and make him sit there and listen, because there's no reason to take him out into the other courtroom, make him sit there and listen and face all these people that he hurt. There's no reason he doesn't need to go to the other room, because you can't. I'd be pissed if they send him to the other room because he can't behave. No, you're going to sit here. You're going to sit here and you're going to sit here in this crazy chair with some duct tape over your mouth or some shit. I don't know, but you're going to sit here and you're going to watch these people talk to you. And that's it. Because that's what you did. But anyway, okay, day 5, over with, done with, finito, finished. Well, no, just the first half. That's all. I lied. Okay, we'll come back for the second half. Okay. And yeah, so just move right along. Just move right along. Okay. See ya. See you on the next go round.